Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of My Book of Mormon with me, David Michael. This is episode 25. I'm recording this like almost 2 weeks in advance, as you probably learned from episode 24. No updates. I assume when I get back, hopefully, I'll have like a ton of thank yous because of all the great stuff you guys have done over the 2 weeks that I've been gone. If that's the case, thanks in advance. For all the patrons, for all the people who support the show, for everybody that's gone out and rated on iTunes. Haven't mentioned that in forever. So if you haven't done it yet, now would be the time. Okay. Once again, got to thank all the patrons, thank everybody. Just thanks. I don't know, I feel weird not having specific people to thank. So you know who I'll thank? I will thank our prophet, Matthew Timian, and I will thank our Mimo goddess, Goddess Carrie. So there you go. I feel good now. I was able to thank some specific people that have done great things for us. So alright, let's start reading. Chapter 12 of Mosiah. And this is kind of fun, because again, I just finished recording the last episode. So usually I have to kind of like go through this, what happened last week, right? To like remind myself. But this time, I just read it. So, I don't know, do you guys think I should tell you what happened? Pretty much, the refounding of the Nephites happened, right? And they started out good. Had a little, ethnic cleansing, killed off any Lamanite that was on their land, and then had a pretty good holy city going. Next, son came in. His name was King Noah. He just decided, we don't need God. So they started whoring around. They started getting drunk all the time. And Lamanites thought, hey, now's our chance to kill him. They came in, and Lamanites lost again. So, yeah. And then this prophet, Abinadi, came in, and he's like, you're all going to be slaves to the Lamanites if you don't start obeying God. And everyone's like, yeah, whatever, go to hell. And I think King Noah was like, I want to kill Abinadi, the prophet or whatever. So that's where we left off. So chapter 12, let's get started. And it came to pass, drink. And by the way, Mosiah must have been an alcoholic, because if he was a prophet, then he would have known that at some point in the future we would have this drinking game. And so he just kept adding these came to passes and yays constantly. So yeah, this last few chapters have been rough. Well, depending. It's either been a lot of fun if you like drinking. It's been really rough if you don't. Yeah, there we go. It came to pass after the space of 2 years that Abinadi came among them in disguise. So it's been 2 years since Abinadi was like, hey, everybody, you're bad. And it's like, and they said, get out. And he's like, oh, okay. And so now he's back after 2 years, but he's disguised. Okay. That they knew him not, and began to prophesy among them, saying, thus has the Lord commanded me, saying, Abinadi, go and prophesy unto this my people, for they have hardened their hearts against my words. I love this. So God's in heaven. He's like, I'm talking to them, and they're not listening. So why don't you go as a stranger, and maybe they'll listen to you. Sure, they're not listening to the voice from the sky, but they might listen to some guy dressed in disguise. That makes a lot of sense. God's got a good plan here. He's a genius. Okay. Harden my hearts against their words, and they have repented not of their evil doings. Therefore, I will visit them in my anger. Yea, drink. In my fierce anger will I visit them in their iniquities and abominations. Yea, drink again. Woe be unto this generation. And the Lord said unto me, stretch forth thy hand and prophesy, saying, thus saith the Lord, it shall come to pass that this generation, because of their iniquities, shall be brought into bondage, shall be smitten on the smitten on the cheek. Yea, drink, and shall be driven by men, and shall be slain, and the vultures of the air, and the dogs, yea, drink again. My God, this might be a record for one verse. And the wild beasts shall devour their flesh. So God said, I'm going to get really creative in how to mess with these people. I'm just tell them that I'm coming. I'm going to have dogs rip them apart. I'm going to have, vultures come down and pluck out their eyes. I mean, it's just going to be, I'm mad, and I'm really vengeful right now. So there you go. And it shall come to pass that the life of King Noah shall be valued even as a garment in a hot furnace. Now there's the God we know and love. He's coming back to light somebody on fire, for he shall know that I am the Lord. So there you go. God said that King Noah is going to be no better. I'm going to treat him like a garment in a hot furnace. Sorry, Noah, you're getting burned alive. So that's his way. That's how God is. And it shall come to pass that I will smite this my people. I love it, my people. It's like, you are my people. Oh, great. So you've got our back? No, I'm going to smite you. A little smiting. With sore afflictions, yea, drink, with famine and with pestilence. And I will cause that they shall howl all the day long. Howl. I guess it means like cry. Like, I suppose that's a howl. Ah. Alright, yay, drink again. My goodness. I'm looking down, I'm just scanning the page, and I see comes to passes and all over the place. Guys, if you need to, like, run to the fridge and grab a few, like, reserve beers, you probably should do that. This looks like it's going to be another rough one. Okay. Yea, it will cause that they shall have burdens lashed upon their backs. Goodness. And they shall be driven before like a dumb ass. Like a dumb ass. That's great. I assume it means, it means a dumbass. There you go. And I listen, this doesn't mean I get to put the explicit rating on this. I'm just reading a holy book, and it happens to say, they shall be driven before like a dumbass. So there you go. They're all going to be dumbasses with big burdens on their back. And it shall come to pass that I will send forth hail among them, and it shall smite them, and they shall also be smitten with the east wind, and insects shall pester their lands also, and devour their grain. God's just getting creative, and he's sitting up there like, what else could I do to him? Let's see. Sent hail, that's good. Maybe a tornado. Yeah, that could be fun. Yeah, sure, why not? Hurricane. Yeah, hurricane. Let's do that. Okay. And they shall be smitten with great pestilence. Oh, that's so God's like, how about some disease? Yeah, that sounds good. Send the measles out. That's great fun. And all this I will do because of their iniquities and abominations. So remember, it's not just like there's bad things in the world, but if you're good, God will protect you from them. No. This is saying that everything would be perfectly fine if God left it well enough alone. If God just ignored the earth, things would be okay, at least for these people. But he is intentionally coming in to interfere with the affairs of the earth in order to make people suffer. That's what it's saying. He is going to do it. So he's, once again, God living up to his expectations of being a total dick. Alright, and it shall come to pass, which, by the way, it's a good thing we didn't keep that rule from a few episodes ago, that it shall come to pass was a drink, because there's been quite a few. That except they repent, I will utterly destroy them from off the face of the earth. That's such a sweetheart. Yet they shall leave a record behind them, and I will preserve them for other nations which shall possess the land. Yea, drink, even this I will do, that I may discover the abominations of this people to other nations. And many things did Abinadi prophesy against this people. So it sounds like God saying, if they don't repent, I'm going to kill them all. Complete genocide. I'm done with them, wiping them out. But don't mess up their plates now, because I want those plates to survive, so that other nations around the world can, learn a lesson. They can say, see what happens when you don't listen to God? Yeah. So there you go. He wants the plates to be a warning to other nations, apparently. He's like, people need to know what an a-hole I am. Otherwise, I might have to wipe them out too. And it came to pass, drink, that they were angry with him. And they took him and carried him bound before the king. And they said unto the king, behold, we have brought a man before thee who has prophesied evil concerning thy people, and saith that God will destroy them. And he also prophesieth evil concerning thy life, and saith their life shall be as a garment in the furnace of fire. And again he saith that thou shalt be... They're just going to repeat it all? Come on. Well, actually, this is new. Sorry. And again he saith that thou shalt be as a stalk, even as a dry stalk of the field, which is run over by the beasts and trodden under foot. I didn't hear him say that. I think they're starting to embellish a little. The king's like, all right, yeah, some prophet, whatever. They're like, yeah, but he said people are just going to step all over you. And he's like, what now? What did you say, rah? He didn't really say that. And again, he saith, thou shalt be as the blossoms of a thistle, which, when it's fully ripe, if the wind bloweth, it is driven forth upon the face of the land, and he pretendeth the Lord hath spoken it. And he hath said all this shall come upon thee, except thou repent, and this because of thine iniquities. Yeah, again, I don't remember him saying anything about a blossom and thistle, so I think they're embellishing again. Fair enough. Okay, let's see what the king's going to do with this new information. And now, O king, what great evil hast thou done? And what great sins have thy people committed, that we should be condemned of God, or judged of this man? And now, O king, behold, we are guiltless, and thou, O king, hast not sinned. Therefore, this man has lied concerning you, and he has prophesied in vain. So, okay, so they are unaware that they're being wicked. This is our just God, right? This is how wonderful God is. So God has not given these people the knowledge to know his commandments, right? They're unaware of them, because they legitimately don't think they're sinning. They're like, look, we're having a lot of consensual sex, but nobody's getting hurt, right? No? Sure. We drink a lot, but we're still getting the job done, right? So no harm there. They're thinking, we don't what are we doing that's wicked? I don't see it. And they're looking at the king like, yeah, you got a big palace, but I mean, you are the king, so I mean, of course you got a palace. Yeah, they're all looking at each other confused. Like, why is this guy saying God doesn't like us? What are we doing wrong? So God knows that they don't like it. So what's his solution? He's like, I'm going to send a complete stranger into their village and tell them, hey, God says you're bad. It's like, okay, great. Like, what if we find out after we die and we go to heaven and God's like, why didn't you listen to that screaming lunatic on the corner of the city? You're like, what? You know, the guy holding up the big repent sign. Like, what? It's like, yeah, I sent him to you to tell you the truth. Oh, thanks, God. You could probably could have had a more effective way because, you know, I just thought he was a raving lunatic. And that's probably what these people think of this Abinadi, or whatever. And behold, we are strong. We shall not come into bondage or be taken captive by our enemies. Yea, drink. Thou hast prospered in the land, and thou shalt also prosper. Okay. Behold, here is the man. We deliver him into thy hands, that thou mayest do with him as seemeth thee good. And it came to pass, drink, that King Noah caused that Abinadi should be cast into prison. And he commanded that the priests should gather themselves together, that he might hold a council with them, what he should do with him. I guess he hasn't seen through the disguise yet, because 2 years ago he was like, kill him. No, it was like death to Abinadi. And now he's like, yeah, prison, and let's talk about what to do. Not so quick to swing the sword this time round. And it came to pass, drink, that they said unto the king, bring him hither, that we may question him. And the king commanded that he should be brought before them. And they began to question him, that they might cross him, that thereby they might have wherewith to accuse him. But he answered them boldly, and withstood all their questions, yea, drink, to their astonishment. For he did withstand them in all their questions, and did confound them in all their words. So, sounds like Abinadi just outsmarted him in rhetoric. You know, he's a better debater. And they're all like, oof, we don't know. We can't trip him up. And it came to pass, drink, that one of them said unto him, what meaneth the words which are written, and which have been taught by our fathers, saying, how beautiful upon the mountains are the feet of him that bringeth good tidings, that publisheth peace, that bringeth good tidings of good, that publisheth salvation, that saith unto Zion, thy God reigneth. The watchmen shall lift up the voice, with the voice together they shall sing, for they shall see eye to eye when the Lord shall bring again Zion. Break forth into joy, sing together, ye waste places of Jerusalem, for the Lord hath comforted his people, he hath redeemed Jerusalem. It sounds like this is some sort of song, you know what I mean? I feel like there should be music that I'm singing along to, so it almost sounds like a hymn. Yeah, so the priests are saying, you know the damnedest thing? We found this manuscript, and it had all this stuff written down on it, but it sounds like nonsense to us. Can you help us out? Oh, crazy man that we just threw in prison. Could you do us a solid? Yeah, and they're not done yet, so this song keeps going. The Lord hath made bare his holy arms in the eyes of all nations, and all the ends of the earth shall see the salvation of our God. Okay, I can see why they would be confused, because that was all just a bunch of random words thrown together, and talked about God and Zion and other such nonsense. So let's see what Abinadi has to say about it. Now Abinadi said unto them, are you priests, and pretend to teach this people, and to understand the spirit of prophesying, and yet desire to know of me what these things mean? So he's like, are you serious? You don't know? And you say that you're priests? Yeah. I guess to Abinadi, this would have been the equivalent of a math professor saying, can you help me out with something? I found this thing, and it says like 2 + 2 = 4. Can you explain that to me? And he's like, you teach math. What's wrong with you? How do you not know that? So yeah, that's the approach Abinadi's taking. He's doing a little shaming of the priests. I say unto you, woe be unto you for perverting the ways of the Lord. For if ye understand these things, ye have not taught them. Therefore ye have perverted the ways of the Lord. Well, I'll just keep going. Ye have not applied your hearts to understanding. Therefore ye have not been wise. Therefore what teach ye this people? So, okay. So basically what I think the priests are saying, listen, if we knew what it meant, we'd be teaching it. Calm down, you know? So anyway, let's see how they respond. And they said, we teach the law of Moses. And again he said unto them, if ye teach the law of Moses, why do you not keep it? Why do you set your hearts upon riches? Why do you commit whoredoms, and spend your strength with harlots? Yea, drink, and cause this people to commit sin. That the Lord has caused to send me to prophesy against this people. Yea, drink again, even in a great evil against this people. Fair point. They say they teach the law of Moses, but nobody's following it. So it's like they teach it, there's no enforcement, I guess. But you know, that happens today. This is so common. Everybody likes to teach some law. Everyone's very selective about the laws of Moses, right? So, you know, lots of people like to pull out the that man lying with a man is abomination in Leviticus, and it's like, oh, see, that's God's commandment. Homosexuality, bad, brah. But it's like, okay, read the rest of them. You're not living any of that. Did you stone a kid today for disobeying his parents? Did you do that? Did you make sure that you understood the ins and outs of slave ownership? Did you make sure you did that? Seriously, just read Leviticus. It's full of just crazy rules. One of them happens to be that men shouldn't lie together, right? But it's like, you can't just pull that one out of context and say, yep, see, God's word, because you're ignoring the rest of them. So, anyway, it just made me think of that, because he's like, why do you teach the law of Moses if you don't follow it? It's like, well, we do today. That hasn't changed. People still like to pull out some Moses, 10 Commandments. People pull those out all the time. Well, the 10 Commandments should be in our schools and our courthouses and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, why those 10? Why not the other 621 laws of Moses? Why are we ignoring the rest of them? Because they're crazy? Oh, yeah, agreed. Okay, sorry. Off the soapbox. Here we go. Know ye not that I speak the truth? Yea, drink, ye know that I speak the truth, and you ought to tremble before God. And it shall come to pass that ye shall be smitten for your iniquities, for ye have said that ye teach the law of Moses. Okay, so they're in trouble for teaching the law of Moses. And what know ye concerning the law of Moses? Doth salvation come from the law of Moses? What say ye? And they answered and said that salvation did come by the law of Moses. So they're like, look, as far as we know, yeah, law of Moses. What? But now Abinadi said unto them, I know if ye keep the commandments of God, ye shall be saved. Yea, if ye keep the commandments which the Lord delivered unto Moses in the mount of Sinai, saying, I am the Lord thy God, who hath brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. Thou shalt have no other God before me. Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image, or any likeness of anything in heaven or above, or things which are on the earth beneath. Now Abinadi said unto them, Have ye done all this? And I say unto you, Nay, ye have not. And have ye taught these people that they should not do these things? And I say unto you, Nay, ye have not. Alright, so for some reason, Abinadi felt it necessary to, mention the first 2 commandments of the 10 Commandments. And then he stopped there. It's like, did you teach people the 2 commandments? And I don't understand. It's weird, too. That second commandment always confused me. It outright, plain as day. I don't know how else you can interpret it. It says you shouldn't make any likeness of anything in heaven above. At all. So, you know how Muslims get all upset if anyone, draws a picture of Muhammad or Allah? It's because of this commandment. It's this one. They're like, that's why. They say, well, it clearly states that we're not supposed to do that. But go into a Christian church. You'll find images of God and Jesus, prophets. They're everywhere. So yeah, for some reason, modern day Christianity completely ignores the second commandment. Just write that one off, because they're all about their imagery. Anyway, so that was the end of chapter 12. So, okay, that happened. Abinadi came back. He got thrown in jail, but now he's kind of shamed the priests, and they're kind of looking down sorry, Dad. It kind of sounds like. So 13, coming right up. Chapter 13, verse 1. And now when the king had heard these words, he said unto his priests, Away with this fellow, and slay him, for what have we to do with him? For he is mad. Well, so the king didn't believe a word of it. And they stood forth and attempted to lay their hands on him, but he withstood them, and said unto them, Touch me not, for God shall smite you if ye lay your hands upon me. He's pulling the old Nephi trick. Remember Nephi did this with his brothers? When he's like, God turned my skin into poison, and if you touch me, you'll die. So it sounds like God's given the same poison skin to Abinadi. Alright, so if you lay your hands on me, for I have not delivered the message which the Lord sent me to deliver, neither have I told you that which ye requested that I should tell. Therefore, God will not suffer that I shall be destroyed at this time. Well, there you have it. They should just try it. Send a priest intern. Be like, you know what? We're going to test this theory out. Go, just chop his head off. If you die in the process of trying to chop his head off, then we'll know he's legit. Just an intern. Might as well. Okay, but I must fulfill the commandments, wherefore God hath commanded me. Wherewith God commanded me. There's a big difference there. And because I have told you the truth, ye are angry with me. And again, because I have spoken the word of God, ye have judged me, that I am mad. Now it came to pass. Yeah, it came to pass. That's a drink. Sorry. After Abinadi had spoken these words, that the people of King Noah durst not lay their hands upon him. Chickens. For the Spirit of the Lord was upon him, and his face shone with exceedingly luster, even as Moses did, while in the mount of Sinai, while speaking with the Lord. So I love that whoever's writing this down, which I don't even know who, because it started out with, what's his name? What is his name? I don't know. The guy who's writing it in the first person, I think is dead, right? Because his son is king now. So I don't know who's writing this now, but apparently whoever is writing it has firsthand knowledge of what Moses looked like. So whoever's writing this is extremely old. Thousands of years old at this point. Because, yeah, he's like, wow, look at Abinadi's face. It looks just like Moses's did. So that's interesting, how he would know. And he spake with power and authority from God, and he continued his word, saying, Ye see that ye have not power to slay me. Therefore I finish my message. Yea, drink, and I perceive that it cuts you to your hearts, because I tell you the truth concerning your iniquities. Yea, drink again, and my words fill you with wonder and amazement, and with anger. But I finish my message, and then it matters not whither I go, if it so be that I am saved. But this much I tell you, what you do with me after this shall be as a type and a shadow of things which are to come. I'm going to pause there for a minute. So first off, if he had the power to just glow, because as soon as he started glowing, everyone's like, whoa, he's the real deal. This is a godly man. God did send him. Well, why didn't you just show up 2 years ago glowing? Just walk in and just be like light just emitting from your pores. I'm pretty sure people would have listened to you then. So you wasted a heck of a lot of time, God, by not turning on the glowworm juice that you put inside of Abinadi. But anyway, better late than never, I guess, because now he's glowing and everybody's listening. And he's basically saying, will you just shut up for a second so I can tell you what I have to say? So, there you go. And now I read unto you the remainder of the commandments of God, for I perceive that they are not written in your hearts. I perceive that ye have studied and taught iniquity the most part of your lives. And now you remember that I said unto you, Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image, or any likeness of things which are in heaven above, okay, second commandment, or which are in the earth beneath, or which are in the water under the earth. Okay, and again, thou shalt not bow down thyself unto them, nor serve them, for I, the Lord thy God, am a jealous God, visiting the iniquities of the fathers upon the children, great, unto the third and fourth generations of them that hate me. Yeah, lovely. So once again, God will punish completely innocent children because of the crimes of their fathers, grandfathers, and great-grandfathers. Yeah, so if your great-grandfather angered God, you could be cursed at no fault of your own. That's the God we're talking about. And let's also not forget, we had to point out again that he's jealous. Yeah, we got it. Okay. And showing mercy unto thousands of them that love me and keep my commandments. No, not really. I mean, you could love God and keep his commandments, but if your great-grandfather didn't, then you're screwed. Okay. Isn't that funny? Like, one verse to the next, you could contradict it. But anyway. Thou shalt not take the Lord thy God in vain. Is this just a long drawn-out version of the Ten Commandments? Because now we're at Commandment 3, which is this, Lord thy God in vain. Yeah, that's what it looks like. All right, we're reading the Ten Commandments, people. I hope they keep it simple and don't, expound on everyone. Okay, not take the Lord thy God in vain. For the Lord will not hold him guiltless that taketh his name in vain. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. 6 days shalt thou labor and do all thy work. The seventh day, the Sabbath of the Lord thy God. Thou shalt not do any work, thou, nor thy son, nor thy daughter, nor thy manservant, nor thy maidservant, nor thy cattle, nor thy stranger that is within thy gates. Funniest thing about that commandment, right? It says nobody can work, and then it lists out everyone. Not you, not your son, not your daughter, not your male slaves, your female slaves, not the cattle, no strangers, no one, except your wives. That one is the one omission. Yeah, I always thought that was kind of funny. Women can still work. I mean, it didn't say they can't. I'm just putting it that way. For in the 6 days the Lord made heaven and earth, and the sea, and all that is in them. Wherefore the Lord blessed the Sabbath day, and hallowed it. Okay, this is the Ten Commandments. Keep still going. Honor thy father and thy mother, that thy days may be long upon the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee. Thou shalt not kill. Thou shalt not commit adultery. Thou shalt not steal. Thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's house, even though God's jealous. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife, nor his manservant, nor his maidservant, nor his ox, nor his ass. I love it. Nor anything that is thy neighbor's. I love the King James version of the Ten Commandments. Don't covet your neighbor's ass. Okay. All right, so that was the Ten Commandments, everybody. Lovely. And it came to pass, drink, and after Abinadi had made an end of these sayings, he said unto them, Have ye taught this people that they should observe to do all these things, for to keep these commandments? For I say unto you, Nay, for if ye had, the Lord would not have caused me to come forth and to prophesy evil concerning this people. It's not, even following these 10 commandments, you can still, at least by my definition, be pretty evil, right? I mean, there's nothing in here about, being a slave owner. There's nothing in here about abusing children. There's nothing, there's just so many. Rape is not mentioned at all in these 10 commandments. So it's like you could be doing all that stuff, right? And technically be following the 10 commandments. So, yeah. And even they made a big point to say they were out drinking wine. Oh, how could they? But that's not in here. Nothing wrong with that, according to the 10 commandments. So, yeah, he's saying, like, if only you'd followed these 10 commandments, you'd have been good. And I think they're probably going, which one did we break? Maybe adultery. But even then, by definition, they had several wives, so was it adultery? Well, I guess the concubines would have definitely, whatever. That one maybe. The commit adultery one maybe. And then maybe the coveting, but it's like, well, we were following your example, God. Anyway, okay, let's get back. So you didn't do it. Now ye have said that salvation cometh by the law of Moses. I say unto you that it is expedient that ye should keep the law of Moses as yet. But I say unto you that the time shall come when it shall no more be expedient to keep the law of Moses. Okay, and moreover I say unto you that salvation doth not come by the law alone. And were it not for the atonement which God himself shall make for the sins and iniquities of his people, they must unavoidably perish, notwithstanding the law of Moses. So, I don't know what that meant. I mean, it's talking about Jesus again, but I don't know. It sounds like he's trying to describe some loophole that if you follow the law of Moses before Jesus comes, you might be all right. I don't know. Whatever. And now I say unto you that it was expedient that there should be a law given to the children of Israel, yea, drink, even a very strict law, for they were a stiff-necked people, to do iniquity, and slow to remember the Lord their God. Okay? So there was an extra law given to Israel? Strict law, I guess? Whatever. I don't. Therefore there was a law given them, yea, drink, a law of performances and of ordinance, a law which they were to observe strictly from day to day, to keep them in remembrance of God and their duty towards him. But behold, I say unto you, that all these things were types of things to come. And now did they understand the law? I say unto you, nay, they did not understand the law, and this because of the hardness of their hearts, for they understood not that there could not be any man be saved except were through the redemption of God. This is confusing. So is he saying that the laws given to Israel is the law of Moses? Or is he saying, here's the law of Moses, it's the 10 commandments, and FYI, in Israel they were given a different set of laws because of their stiff necks? I don't know. I guess it doesn't matter. I don't see how it's relevant. It's interesting. It'd be an interesting thing to understand, but it doesn't really add to the story. It's basically just, we have to pretend that Abinadi knows what the rules are, and he's trying to communicate it to them. That's what they're trying to get across. For behold, did not Moses prophesy unto them concerning the coming of the Messiah, and that God should redeem his people? Yea, drink. And even all the prophets who prophesied ever since the world began, have they not spoken more or less concerning these things? Have they not said that God himself should come down among the children of men, and take upon him the form of a man, and go forth in mighty power upon the face of the earth? Oh, for God's sake, yes, 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 you've said it so many times. The Messiah is coming. Yea, drink. Sorry, that was a disgruntled drink there. It was an annoying one. And have they not said also that he should bring to pass the resurrection of the dead, and that he himself should be oppressed and afflicted? We'll just go with yes. Yes, you've said that numerous times. And again, with the bringing up of the dead, we still haven't figured out how that zombie apocalypse is happening. It's been a while since we've heard about zombies, but here we are, talking about some bringing the dead back to life. Sounds a little zombie-ish. Okay, chapter 14, moving right along. This is it's amazing how much you can get through in this book when you don't start with 10 minutes of babbling before you start reading. Yeah, really, okay, sounds great. So here we go, chapter 14. Yea, drink. Even doth not Isaiah say, oh, not Isaiah. Oh, no. Uh-oh, people. We're back to Isaiah. Okay. Maybe it's just a quote. Maybe we're just going to give him a little quote. We'll see. But I saw the name Isaiah. Got a few shivers. Who hath believeth our report, and to whom is the arm of the Lord revealed? Again with Isaiah. Never made any sense. For he shall grow up before him as a tender plant, and as a root out of dry ground. He hath no form nor comeliness, and when we shall see him, there is no beauty that we should desire him. Isaiah, come on, what are you talking about? There's some guy that's grew out of the ground, and he's ugly, and nobody wants to look at him, or, whatever. He is despised and rejected of men, a man of sorrows, and acquainted with grief, and we hid as it were our faces from him. He was despised, and we esteemed him not. Who is this guy? Seriously, who? Someone. They just as he. You want to know who it is? He. That's who they're talking about. He. We have no idea who he is, but nobody likes him. Just no one. Surely he has borne our griefs and carried our sorrows, yet we did esteem him stricken, smitten of God, and afflicted. Still don't know what we're talking about. But he was wounded for our transgressions, he was bruised for our iniquities, the chastisement of our peace was upon him, and with his stripes are we healed. Is this Jesus? Jesus was ugly? Really? That's what it said. He was so comely, and just nobody wanted to look at him because there was no beauty. But now it's saying the same ugly guy that nobody could even look at, he was so ugly, and is the one that was wounded for our transgressions. I guess they're saying Jesus was just butt ugly. All we, like sheep, have gone astray. We have turned every one to his own way, and the Lord hath laid on him the iniquities of us all. He was oppressed, and he was afflicted, yet he opened not his mouth. He is brought as a lamb to the slaughter, and as a sheep before the shearers is dumb, so he opened not his mouth. Isaiah, seriously, what the... Yeah, at least in the Bible, when they're referring to a holy being, so God or Jesus or something like that, they capitalize the pronoun, right? So like the he would be capitalized. In here it's not. So it hasn't said that this is the Messiah or Jesus or any of that. But who else would it be? But I don't know why he's so ugly. I mean, this is just, they're describing the most pathetic person ever. You know what I mean? Just like, everything about him is just, nobody likes him. He was afflicted, which typically means disease, right? So he's just got boils all over him. He's it's a disgusting person. And we don't know, I don't know who he is. And if it's Jesus, then it's really confusing. Okay, he was taken from prison and from judgment, and who shall declare his generation? Well, goodness, who's going to declare his generation? Any volunteers? For he was cut off out of the land of the living, for the transgressions of my people he was stricken. And he made his grave with the wicked, and with the rich in his death, because he has done no evil, neither was any deceit in his mouth. I guess this has to be Jesus, because wasn't Jesus supposedly the only human that had no sin? I think he made his grave with the wicked. Does that mean because like he was crucified next to the two criminals? Maybe? With the rich in his... because he had done no evil, neither was there any deceit in his mouth. Yet it pleased the Lord to bruise him. What a guy. It pleased the Lord. The Lord got pleasure in watching someone be brutalized. It pleased him. He's becoming worse by every chapter. So here's a person. We don't specifically know who it is. All we know is that he was born really ugly, had a terrible life. Everybody hated him. People couldn't even look at him. But even despite all that, he had done no evil, and he had never lied. Like, he was actually a good person, but nobody treated him well. And so here we have this really good guy, and it pleased the Lord to bruise him. The Lord was pleased to see him in pain. Great God. He hath put him to grief. When thou shalt make his soul an offering for sin, he shall see his seed, he shall prolong his days, and the pleasure of the Lord shall prosper in his hand. Just, it's sounding so sadistic. It's disgusting. I don't know. God's just, ugh. Anyway, he shall see the travails of his soul, and shall be satisfied by his knowledge that my righteous servant justify many, for he shall bear their iniquities. Well, that meant nothing, so we'll move on. Therefore I will divide him a portion with the great, and he shall divide the spoils with the strong, because he hath poured out his soul unto death, and he was numbered with the transgressors, and he bore the sins of the many, and made intercessions for the transgressors. I hope to God that was it. That was the end of chapter 14. I didn't like anything about it. It didn't make sense. Never said who they were talking about. I assume, alright, you know what? We're doing it again. We don't do this often. I'm going to go back and look at the italicized chapter heading here. And it says, Isaiah speaks messianically, the Messiah's humiliation and sufferings are set forth. So, yep, this whole thing was about the Messiah. or Jesus. And apparently he was really, really ugly. I never knew that. He had no beauty that anyone would desire him. So the Mormon version of Jesus, just imagine the ugliest person you could possibly think of. And there you go. There you go. That's him. No wonder Mormons don't wear crosses around their neck. It'd be hideous. He's just so ugly. Okay. And that, by the way, I learned in our MIMO special. Yeah. We learned that Mormons don't wear crucifixes. Who knew? Well, apparently Mormons do. I didn't. Okay. Chapter 15. I think I got time. Oh, it's a bit long. What the heck. I'll do chapter 15. I'm going to do it. I don't want to stop now. And now Abinadi said unto them, I would that ye should understand that God himself shall come down among the children of men, and shall redeem his people. They're still going on about Jesus. All right. Yeah, so Abinadi is still saying, Jesus is coming. Because he dwelleth in flesh, he shall be called the Son of God, and having subjected the flesh to the will of the Father, and being the Father and the Son. The Father, because he was conceived by the power of God, and the Son, because of the flesh, thus becoming the Father and the Son. It still doesn't, you can repeat it a dozen times, Abinadi, it still doesn't make sense. I'm sorry, it's dumb. This whole idea of Trinity is just, it's like one being, but several forms. Like, just stop. It doesn't make sense. And they are one God, yea, drink, the very eternal Father of heaven and of earth. And thus the flesh becoming subject to the Spirit, or the Son of the Father, being one God, suffereth temptation, and yieldeth not to the temptation, but suffereth himself to be mocked, and scourged, and cast out, and disowned by his people. And after all this, after working many mighty miracles among the children of men, he shall be led, yea, drink, even as Isaiah said, as a sheep before the shearer is dumb, so he opened not his mouth. I guess that means, like, at the time of his crucifixion, he could have, like, defended himself, but he didn't. I think that's what that means, that whole sheep thing. Anyway, yea, drink, even so shall be led, crucified and slain, the flesh becoming subject even unto death, the will of the Son being swallowed up in the will of the Father. And thus God breaketh the bands of death, having gained the victory over death, giving the Son power to make intercession for the children of men. It's this freaking story. They've said it so many times, and it's not even an original story. This is just like the story of the New Testament. Well, at least, some versions. The Gospels are all four of them are quite different. Well, 3 of them are similar. John's completely different. But anyway, it's like, how many times we have to hear Jesus is coming, he's going to die for our sins. Shut up. We get it. Anyway, we'll just keep going. I probably am going to read this rather quickly because we've heard it all before. So there you go. Having ascended into heaven, having the bowels of mercy. Sorry, right off the bat. Every time they say bowels, all I think about is someone taking a crap. So yeah, he's just pooping out some mercy. Being filled with compassion towards the children of men, standing betwixt them and justice, having broken the bands of death, taken upon himself their iniquity and their transgressions, having redeemed them, and satisfied the demands of justice. And now I say unto you, who shall declare his generation? Behold, I say unto you, that when his soul has been made an offering for sin, he shall see his seed. And now what say ye? What shall be his seed? What in the world? So, what, Jesus had kids? Now I have to stop. Here I thought it was all going to be repeating what we already knew. We got some new stuff here. So now it's saying Jesus is going to have... First of all, I have no idea what who's going to speak for the generation. It's some ancient thing. I don't know what that means. It doesn't matter. But yeah, it's talking about who shall be his seed. Jesus had kids. I did not know that. It turns out that Da Vinci Code was right all along. Wasn't that the whole story there? That Jesus was married to Mary Magdalene and they had kids? Apparently he did, because he's got seed. All right. Behold, I say unto you, that whosoever has heard the words of the prophets, yea, drink, and all the holy prophets who have prophesied concerning the coming of the Lord, I say unto you, that all those who have hearkened unto their words, and believe that the Lord would redeem his people, and have looked forward to that day for a remission of their sins, I say unto you, these sins are his seed. That these are his seed. Huh? Or they are the heirs of the kingdom of God. Ugh. So it's like metaphorical kids, I guess. Yeah, sorry, I was all excited that like, ooh, we have Jesus kids now. Turns out, no. It's just like, you can be Jesus. Oh, it's this thing again. Remember they said you can be a child of Christ, and it was weird because it's like, wait a minute, he doesn't exist yet, so your dad's younger than you. So it's the same thing. Would you like to be Jesus' child? And it's like, how is that possible? He doesn't exist yet. And it's like, well, you just have to believe that he's going to exist. So there you go. Turns out this book is not claiming that Jesus had physical children. Okay. For these are they whose sins he had borne. These are for whom he has died, to redeem them from their transgressions. And now, are they not his seed? I would argue no, but apparently I'm sure they're going to say different. Yea, drink. And are not the prophets, every one that has opened his mouth to prophesy, that has not fallen into transgression, I mean all the holy prophets ever since the world began, I say unto you that they are his seed. All right, everybody's a seed. And these are they who have published peace, who have brought good tidings of good, who have published salvation, and saith to Zion, Thy God reigneth. Boring. And oh, how beautiful upon the mountains were their feet. What? They had good-looking feet. All right. They went up in the mountains, and they were like, man, we got nice feet, don't we? I don't know how that's relevant, but they got nice feet. Okay. And again, how beautiful upon the mountains are the feet of those that are still publishing peace. They're still got this foot fetish going on here. They're up in the twice in a row. Like, how beautiful are their feet? And seriously, check out those feet. What do you want to do to those feet? And again, how beautiful upon the mountains are the feet of those who shall hereafter publish peace, yea, drink, from this time henceforth and forever. 3 verses in a row, talking about how hot feet are on mountains. Whoever's writing this clearly has a foot fetish. But, because otherwise, difference, it had no meaning. So this was just someone's fetish. And behold, I say unto you, that is not all, or this is not all. For oh, how beautiful upon the mountains are the feet of him that bringeth good tidings. 4th verse in a row about feet. This is the founder of peace. Yea, drink, even the Lord, who has redeemed his people. Yea, drink again, who has granted salvation unto his people. Oof. I got lost with all the drinking there. It's still saying good feet on a mountain. I don't know. And then salvation, redemption. We've heard it all before. For were it not for the redemption which he hath made for his people, which prepared for the foundation of the world, I say unto you, were it not for this, all mankind must have perished. Wow. Really? What a revelation. We've never heard that before. But behold, the bands of death shall be broken, and the Son reigneth, and hath power over the dead. Therefore he bringeth to pass the resurrection of the dead. Ooh, here comes the zombies. He's going to bring them up. And there cometh a resurrection, even a first resurrection, yea, drink, even a resurrection of those who have been dead, or have been, who are, and who shall be, even unto the resurrection of Christ, for so shall he be called. What? People that don't exist yet will be resurrected. Okay, that's an interesting trick. I don't know how else to read that. A resurrection of those that have been, that one makes sense. You died, so you're resurrected. And who shall be? How can you resurrect people that don't exist yet? Weird. And now the resurrection of all the prophets, and all those that have believed in their words, or all those that have kept the commandments of God, shall come forth in the first resurrection. Therefore they are the first resurrection. Okay, so it's like the first wave of zombies are these prophets and people that believed in commandments and stuff. There they go. They are raised to dwell with God, who has redeemed them. Thus they have eternal life through Christ, who has broken the bands of death. Okay, and these are those who have part in the first resurrection, and these are they that have died before Christ came, in their ignorance, not having salvation declared unto them, unless the Lord bringeth about the restoration of these, that they have a part in the first resurrection, or have eternal life, being redeemed by the Lord. And little children also have eternal life. And this is great. Again, there's that loophole. If they were in ignorance, if they didn't have salvation declared unto them, they're saved. I'm telling you, seriously, proselytizing, according to this book, it's just a mean act. It really is. Because a guaranteed way to get into heaven is to have no one ever have told you this before. This is at least the 3rd time this has come up in this book, that being completely ignorant of what will save you, saves you. So stop telling people. If you really believe this, the kindest act that you could do in the world is to keep your mouth shut. I don't know. Tell me I'm wrong. It sounds like I can't think of a better plan. Anyway, what are you going to do? But behold, and fear, and tremble before God, for ye ought to tremble, for the Lord redeemeth none such that rebel against him, and die in their sins. Yea, drink, even all those that have perished in their sins ever since the world began. They have willfully rebelled against God, and have been known the commandments of God, and would not keep them. And these are they that have no part in the first resurrection. Once again with ignorance. Right? It says that you have to willfully rebel against God. You have to know what the commandments are and not keep them. So yeah, the best thing you got going for you is if you just don't know. So I'm sorry to everyone listening to this. If you didn't know the story, and this is all true, yeah, you have no excuse now, because I'm reading it to you. Bummer. Anyway, it's not true, so I don't think you have anything to worry about. Therefore ought ye not to tremble, for salvation cometh to none such, for the Lord hath redeemed none such, yea, drink, neither can the Lord redeem such, for he cannot deny himself, for he cannot deny justice when has its claim. Yeah, real powerful God. It's like, yeah, God can't do that. How can you even say that? How can you? Because earlier they said he was omnipotent, and now they're saying he has limits. It's like, what? No, that's not true. He can do, omnipotent means he can do whatever he wants. I think. I'm pretty sure that's what it means. Anyway, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that's what it means. And now I say unto you that the time shall come that the salvation of the Lord shall be declared to every nation, kindred, tongue, and people. Yea, drink, Lord. What? Yea, Lord. Yea, comma, Lord, comma. Okay. Yea, Lord, thy watchmen shall lift up their voice. With the voice together they shall sing, for they shall see eye to eye when the Lord shall bring again Zion. Whatever that meant. Watchmen. What? Break forth into joy, sing together, ye waste places of Jerusalem. For the Lord hath comforted his people, he hath redeemed Jerusalem. The Lord hath made bare his holy arm in the eyes of all the nations, and all the ends of the earth shall see the salvation of our God. You know what? Honestly, if we were only at like the 20-minute mark right now, I would probably stop reading, because it was just that the last 2 chapters were just terrible. I mean, it was like, the first was like a really weird Isaiah chapter, strangest one yet, I think. That one was just a curveball. And then the other one's just like, Jesus. Oh, wait, you've heard this how many times? 12, you say? More than 12 times? Oh, yeah. Anyway, so there we go. That was in Mosiah 15. And the next episode I release should be filled with all of the updates that I didn't get to in the last 2 episodes, including this one. So that's it for now. Unless I have a horrible plane crash, then I should be back in 2 weeks, and I'll be ready to tackle this book again. I'm going to miss it. Yeah, I'm going to miss the book, but even more, I'm going to miss all of you. All the mimos out there that have just done, I'm not going to miss you entirely, because, I'm not like disconnected from the world. So I'll still get all your messages and stuff, and I'll still see the new patrons coming on and getting me all excited. So make my vacation an even more delightsome experience by continuing to do everything that you've been doing thus far, which is being completely awesome. So thank you, Mimos, for your awesomeness. And, I'll see you soon. I'll miss you, but I'm going to have a nice vacation. We'll be back, and we'll get right back into this. So goodbye.
This song is licensed for use within this podcast. All song and copyright information can be found at www.mybookofmormonpodcast.com.